Alright, welcome to Leadership in Practice. I am Osaretinagbondr. Today's episode presents a doctoral-level analysis of 5 major leadership approaches, which include transformational, authentic, servant, adaptive, and inclusive. These focus on defining the characteristics, the strengths, the challenges, and reward exemplars across industries. I will grant each section in a scholarly literature so you have both the theory and practice to reference. So let's begin. The first is the transformational leadership. The transformational leadership centers on inspiring followers to pursue outcomes beyond their self-interest by articulating a compelling vision, stimulating intellectual curiosity, and attending to individual development. By Baz and Rigo 2006. What is the characteristics? These include idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. The strength of this approach is very clear. Transformational leaders elevate morale, foster innovations, mobilize organizational change by linking individual purpose to collective goals. That was being said by Baz and Rigo 2006 and Collins 2014. Yet, challenges exist. And what are those challenges? Transformational leadership can produce dependency on the charismatic leaders, may underemphasize operational rigor, risk creating unrealistic expectation when vision outpaces resources. Yoke 2013. In practice, technology CEOs who reset company culture and strategy during major pivots. For example, leaders who reorient firms towards platform thinking and continuous learning exemplify transformational behaviors. This was being said by Collins 2014. Let's take a pause. Look through transformational leadership. Let's go into the other one, authentic leadership. Authentic leadership forego self-awareness, moral perspective, relational transparency, and balanced processing of information, not as 2018. What are the characteristics? These include consistent value-driven action and open communication. And the strengths include credibility, psychological safety for staff, and sustained ethical decision-making, which are essential in sectors requiring high public trust, such as public administration and healthcare, not as 2018. However, authenticity poses practical tension. Leaders who place personal authenticity above organizational efficiency may appear rigid, excessive in disclosure, can create dilemmas when sensitive information must be managed carefully. Yoke 2013. Authentic leaders in practice often appear in a mission-driven organization where leaders' integrity underlies legitimacy. For example, a university president, a non-profit founder who align action and governance with stated values. The next is the servant leadership. The servant leadership advances the ideas that leaders serve first. They prioritize employees' growth, stewardship, empathy, and community building. Following Stone and Wixon 1999 and Dirondog and Peterson 2015 said that. What are the key characteristics? These include listening, empowering others, and ethical stewardship. The strength of servant leadership is capacity to build trust and deepen engagement and develop a long-term organizational resilience. It is particularly well suited for sectors where human capital and intrinsic motivation drive outcomes. Places like healthcare services, community organization, and education. Challenges include possible slow decision making, risk of leaders overextension, and difficulty aligning servant behavior with tightly constrained, profit-driven environment. Practical exemplars include non-profit executive or president and healthcare leaders who emphasize staff welfare and patient-centered model. The last is the adaptive leadership. The adaptive leadership developed by execs and colleagues summarized in contemporary texts and focuses on mobilizing people to tackle hard problems that require changes in values, in beliefs, and habits. Not House 2018 said that. Distinguishing the technical problems which have no solution from an adaptive challenges is central. What are the characteristics? The characteristics include diagnostic capacity, orchestration of conflict, and encouragement of experimentation. Strength includes fostering organizational learning, resilience, capacity to navigate uncertainty, critical in healthcare pandemics, technological disruption, and regulatory flaws. This doesn't also come without challenges, and these challenges include adaptive work creates discomfort, resistance, and the potential for destabilization if a leader fails to provide a structure while pushing a change. Yoke 2013 said that. Adaptive leadership is evident in public health administrators who are to redesign services delivery under rapidly evolving conditions. And we have the last, which is the inclusive leadership. This is just an addition to the other ones that you have, but this is just a bonus. The inclusive leadership intentionally cultivate belongings and leverage diverse perspectives. And the core characteristics include cultural intelligence, active listening, equitable opportunity design, facilitation of psychological safety. This was being said by Not House 2018. The strength of inclusive leadership are improved decision quality through diversity of thought, greater innovation, and enhanced trust among historically excluded groups. What are the challenges? The challenges include the time and the process complexity of inclusive decision making and the necessity to manage conflict perspective efficiently, particularly when rapid decisions are required. George Piccolo and Ellis 2004. Large multinational firms and progressive educational institutions increasingly utilize the inclusive practice to foster global collaboration and creativity. What are the integrative analysis and the recommendation? Across the 5 approaches, including the bonus that I had, which is the inclusive, 3 integrative observational are especially salient for doctoral-level practice. First, leadership is conceptual. What that means, the choice of a style must align with the organizational goals, the time horizon, and the stakeholder expectation. Not as 2018. Secondly, hybridization is often necessary. For example, combining transactional system for compliance with transformational vision for innovation yield both operational stability and strategic agility. Yoke 2013. Third, leader development must deliberately scholarly work allied effective growth through reflection, feedback, and structured learning. That was being said by Kidin and Flood 2011. So, on a final note, for practitioners and scholars alike, the implication is clear. The master of the theory, but prioritize diagnostic skills, knowing which behavior to deploy, when and whom. If you are preparing a leadership development plan, consider a diagnostic assessment, targeted coaching, and real-world stretch assignment to foster the breadth and depth in leadership capability. So, this brings us to a final note on on this leadership in practice, you need to know that in applying any of these approaches, you need to know how it's been applied based on the context. You need to do a very good analysis. So thank you for listening to the Leadership in Practice. Success and shows, notes, and availables where you find this episode. I'm your host, Osaretinagbondr. Join me next time for an evidence-based framework that you can apply to your everyday life. For now, goodbye.